What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Will Talks Disney YouTube page. And we're still frustrated about California. I wish I had some news to give you guys an update, but unfortunately, we're still in the gray area. It's a lot of he said, she said. Disneyland Resort President Ken Potrock is going back and forth with Gavin Newsom, but really there's nothing going on there. It's just a lot of nothing. So hopefully soon we'll have something to report on Disneyland. But for today's video, as you can see on the screen here, we're going to look into Florida. So Florida's a whole different case right now. They're in phase 3. Everything's lifted up, full capacity. Well, places have the option of doing full capacity, and so does Disney World. So what does that mean, and how is that going to affect the trips? So today's article is brought to you by Tom Bricker from the Disney Tourist blog. And again, we're going to go over the changes that are happening in Florida. So again, Florida is in phase 3. And then by doing this, the governor also said that Florida, we are not closing down going forward. We might have pockets, but no one's allowed to close down. We're moving forward. We're going to continue opening our economy. I'm going to remove the capacity on restrictions in bars, restaurants, stores, and theme parks. So everything's going to go away, but what does that mean for Disney World? I think everyone has seen over the last couple of weeks after Labor Day that crowds have risen. In my last video about Disney World, I was very nervous that crowds were rising, but we weren't seeing either that. We're seeing crowds rising and hours getting shortened and lines getting longer. Now, I have a couple friends down there, and I don't know if the line times are being artificially upped. Like, I've seen people go through Small World that said a 30-minute wait and people walked on. I've seen other places where it's supposed to be a 50-minute wait and it's 25. If anyone's been to a Disney vacation before, they know this happens quite often. They'll raise the outside rate. I don't know if it's to get those people that are on the fence to just keep on walking by. But what we've seen in the last couple days is on weekends, Disney has actually increased the park hours up, which is a good sign. So the more people that are coming through the gates, the more things we can have back. Because all the restaurants that are still closed, like Casey's is still closed, and some other great restaurants, the cheeseburger egg roll cart in Fantasyland is still closed. I love snacks and food, but hopefully we will continue to get more people in a safe way, and we'll have more things we love back. So again, under these guidelines that were created, phase 3 basically means that it happens at the end of phase 2. Obviously, some places like New York has 4 phases and things like that. Basically, they're looking for a downward trajectory of this syndromic and epidemiology criteria while maintaining adequate health care and capacity. Sorry, my wife is a nurse and I am not. Per Florida's guidelines, the state can enter phase 3 when there is no evidence of a rebound or resurgence beyond benchmarks which have been satisfied. So since Florida's numbers peaked in mid-July, remember that's right when Disney World opened, new cases, deaths, hospitalization rates, positivity rates, and cases per 1,000 are all down from the peak, which is a good sign. Now we're going to scroll down and we're going to see here that over this time that they have plateaued. But again, schools are back in session. You had Labor Day. So hopefully that is just from people being around each other. I mean, it's good that they haven't gone up, but obviously they're not continuing to going down. And it's the same thing we've seen here in New York. We've been at, I would say, between 600 and 800 cases across the whole state per day. And it's just kind of floating there. It's not fully going down, but like I said, we're just plateaued there. Okay, so here's what the guidelines actually mean. So theme parks may return to normal operations with limited physical distancing. Restaurants and food service establishments may operate at full capacity with limited social distancing protocols. Businesses should maintain adequate sanitation practices among employees, patrons during all hours and then menus, if laminated, should be washed and paper ones just get thrown out. Okay, so let's think about this from the Disney perspective. I don't think we're going to see Disney increase their capacity all of a sudden. I don't think we're going to go back to normal park days there. I think they're using this is, if you wanted to Disney, you could. I think Disney's very safety conscious, and they're going to continue to raise capacity levels. Obviously, they need to make money, and they're still charging a premium for the product. Now, again, people were in the parks today and they said cavalcades were coming down Magic Kingdom every 5 minutes. And there's also some awesome video. If you look back on people's stories, maybe other people had it on their blogs, there was like 10 princesses walking down Main Street, just saying hi, having interactions with people as they're going through a cavalcade. Awesome. You still got the Halloween ones, you've got the villain ones, you got the Minnie Boo to You got the Jack, Sally, and Oogie Boogie. So from a Halloween perspective, from a cavalcade perspective, Magic Kingdom is certainly rocking Halloween. And I think, like I said, I think Disney's going to continue to go up. I think their restaurants, they're still going to enforce social distancing, obviously. But maybe they'll see them go up to 50%, maybe more. Maybe places people might be a little, I think places, just because you can raise it up doesn't mean, and then Tom goes into this article where I get this point, is just because you are allowed to raise doesn't mean that people are going to feel fully comfortable in a setting. So say you had restaurants that are like 50%. I know people still that don't indoor dine, but if you go up to like 75% and people are closer, they're not going to feel good about everything going on. So just because they can doesn't mean that people are going to want to go with what's going on. So this is the surprising thing. At least from our perspective in New York, we don't have very many bars. You have to serve food and things like that. So bars, pubs, nightclubs that derive more than 50% of their sales from alcohol should operate at full capacity with limited social distancing protocols. I really need to look this up because I'm not sure what limited social distancing protocols means. Like, does that mean 6 feet, masks, everything else? So vacation rentals should resume normal operations. Retail businesses should operate at full capacity. So really, Ron DeSantis, the governor there, is giving everyone the ability. You want to open up? You want to go up to full capacity? You can. That's a beautiful picture. In addition, and again, we see this from time to time. You have like state government, local government, private businesses where they're kind of like jockeying for a position. So you might have a mandate from the state that says you can't do this or that. And then again, counties can do things to prevent that. But when you get to Disney being a private company on private property, even if the state says it's not going to enforce mask mandate with violations, Disney's private property. If you're not going to wear a mask, they're not going to let you on. It's just as simple as that. So again, there is that battle. And then here's just a picture of what Epcot has looked like recently. So yes, it is much busier than we saw like in mid-July when the first like cast member preview and people were in the parks. You could throw a rock in Magic Kingdom and not hit anyone back then. And again, one thing that they're having is they're not going to collect fines anymore for not wearing masks. But public companies or private companies like Publix, Walt Disney World, they can still do it. It's similar that they can say no shoes, no shirt, no service. There's nothing that says you have to wear a shirt or you have to wear shoes, but private businesses can do what they want and what they feel is best. So again, and kind of what we were talking about earlier, just because you increase capacity doesn't mean that you're automatically going to see people feeling fully comfortable with that. I think everyone's comfortability during the pandemic varies. So we're going to see, places that are doing better from a restaurant standpoint, places that are doing worse. And it's just going to continue to go like that. So again, they're looking at the future and how it's going to affect Disney World. I agree here with Tom. I don't think it's going to have much impact on Disney World. I think Disney World's going to set its guidelines above and beyond with what the state has. We've seen that capacity has continued to rise. I think we'll continue to see that. Maybe as you don't need to have people as far spaced apart, you'll see ride throughput go up and you'll have more people on attractions, so the lines go down, or they're not as long. But again, Disney has its own medical doctors. It has its own team of experts that are guiding them on this whole journey, because again, no one wants to get this wrong. No one wants to shut down and things like that. So, I mean, while DeSantis can say what he wants, and Tom says this again here, it's Disney's reputation. It's their PR if they get this wrong. It's not the governor. The governor's going to just go back and blame the company. So, again, I don't think we're going to see many changes. I think we'll definitely see the masks for, I'm not sure, maybe all the way till spring 2021. But again, I think we're not going to go back to full capacity for a while. We're not going to see a lot of different things back. So potentially, even if there's a second wave, while Florida might remain open, Disney World could just reduce capacity and do what they want to do. So again, ultimately, when we look at this, when we look at Disney World versus Disneyland, it's a stark difference. You have, again, Ken Potrock, Disneyland Resort president, begging, pleading, let's not make this a negotiation, Gavin Newsom, let's just open the parks. You got Ron DeSantis, that is wanting Disney World to go bigger. So you just have these two different worlds right now. I think the right way, I think what Disney is putting out is, we have done it in Walt Disney World. We've done it all over the world. We know how to operate the park safely. Just let us open up, please, and we'll do it. And we'll do it safely. So that's all we got for today. So again, Florida's going to their stage 3, or their phase 3. It's going to increase, or basically have no restrictions on theme parks, dining, bars, retail, anything like that. Are we going to see a change at Disney? Probably not. So if this video brought you any value, give me a comment, a like, subscribe, and as always, have faith, trust, lots of pixie dust, and I look forward to the next time we talk Disney.